Hey everyone, you're with Tom from Ludicrous Feed. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, 7th of September. Wow, we're already so late in the year. Welcome to Ludicrous Feed Live. It is Thursday nights. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching us live, make sure you drop a comment. Tell us where you're watching from. If you are watching on replay, hello as well. Thanks for joining us, and leave a comment. And if you're listening to us on audio podcast, hello as well. And apologies for just being a little bit late this evening, but we got there in the end, so thanks for joining us. All right, well, let's say hello to Riz, one of our regular guests, as always. Hello, Riz. How are you doing this evening?
Hey Tom, going well. It's all happening. It's warm here in Melbourne, but there's lots of EV news for us to talk about.
Excellent. Yeah, it is quite warm in Sydney as well, actually, tonight. So, yeah, good to see the warmer weather here in the east coast of Australia. And before we move on tonight, I just wanted to acknowledge our sponsors tonight. We've got two new sponsors for the show. We've got Warbucks, who are kindly sponsoring us regularly now, and also Carloop as well, which, of course, Riz is from. Thank you, Riz, so much for sponsoring the show.
Good.
All right, and we've got our other regular guest joining us as well tonight, and that is Mr. Rahul Prasad. Rahul, so good of you to join us tonight. Hello, how are you?
Very good, Tom and Riz. I hope everyone can hear me.
I can definitely hear you. Where are you streaming from tonight? Looks like some really discreet location. Tell us if you can.
Hiding from the family? No, we're traveling to Sydney. We're at Gundagai, and I've just gone and charged the car from the interiors of our Model Y. I love technology. Hotspotting from my iPhone onto the MacBook Pro. Logged into StreamYard and live streaming to an audience for Ludicrous Feed live. Amazing. I love technology when it works.
Who says charging is inconvenient? You can join a live stream while you're charging your EV. Like, come on, add that to the list, right? No, thanks, Rahul. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Yeah, thanks for joining us on your busy schedule. Appreciate that when you're out with the family too. And thank you to your family for releasing you for an hour to join us. Now, gents, I do apologize for being tardy this evening, but what's been happening in the conversation here? There's been quite a lot of chit-chat here. What's happening?
Yeah, there's a bit of conversation around the Volvo EX30, which is coming up. 800 orders on the car, which was sort of confirmed earlier this week by Volvo Australia. So quite good to see that that's happening. And the other sort of hot topic is the new tiny amount of $2.2 million funding that Victoria has received or has started to hand out to do some very specific charging projects. Not a lot of detail out about them, but the government has selected some operators to install some chargers somewhere without telling anyone what's really going on. So, but $2.2 million out of the tens of millions that they're collecting with our EV tax is being contributed towards supercharging our EV adoption in the state.
Yes, I saw that news today, actually. I might put it up for you guys right now. So now, does this make up for the fact that Victoria has gotten rid of their EV subsidy? Let's have a look. Hundreds of new places to charge your car. 28th of August. So actually, that's quite old news now. That's a couple of weeks old. But as you said, Riz, this kind of slid under the radar here. 214 new chargers, including fixed and transportable chargers to be installed across Victoria. 4 projects, $2.2 million, new charging technology as part of the Zero Emissions Vehicle Emerging Technologies Program. Are there any details on where it's going to go?
There's a little bit in there, but it's all very discreet in what they describe and who they've partnered with. And it's apparently new charging technology. So we're very proud in Victoria to have developed new types of electrons to pump into people's cars, and that's what this 2.2 million is going towards. So if anyone's interested in looking at what the future of charging looks like, come on down.
Is that why Rahul's coming to Sydney? You're fully in Victoria, Rahul?
You know what? I think we might just have to. Yes, exactly.
Oh, good. Well, look, I'm glad, on a serious note, Victoria are doing something. We were a bit disappointed that you guys lost the $3,000 rebate, but this is, I guess, a small consolation, hey, that there is some chargers coming your way. So stay tuned. We'll try and look out for them if we can.
Just quickly on that, Tom, I just want to mention this as well. Yeah, obviously not happy with the fact that we're being taxed a road charge and the rebates being taken away from interested parties in Victoria as well, or individuals who are wanting to sort of sign up to the EV rebate. But yeah, the fact that this grant is going towards a lot of apartment charging, and then also legislating that all new apartment buildings have to have 100% backup for EVs to be able to charge for all apartments. For every apartment in that building block, that's fantastic news as well. And the fact that they're looking at mobile units for charging as well. I know a lot of my friends who've gone to the snowfields this year have mentioned that there's been a lot of charging issues as well. So I think this is something that could help in some of those scenarios as well.
I think you're on mute, Tom.
Thanks, Riz. Yeah, you're right, Rahul. Charles is also saying that headline is a bit inaccurate. The number of charges isn't really interesting, not the location. It's just the kind of projects they're funding. Again, that detail that kind of should be the headline, right? Not just hundreds of places to charge a car. Apartment charging is actually quite important at the moment. That's kind of lacking. I'll just highlight what Rahul was saying. So apartments and buildings project is an inventive centralized design of 10 EV charging outlets in an apartment car park and commercial shared car space for fleets in metropolitan Melbourne. Must be space for switchboards and EV chargers and new builds for 100% of car spaces in apartment buildings. And IntelliHub will deliver a resourceful streetlight pole-mounted EV charger, installing 100 chargers mounted on streetlight poles across 3 inner city local government areas. I mean, that's quite exciting. I've seen one of these in Sydney. They're quite good for people without off-street charging.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the 3 inner city local government areas are. I do have a contact at my local council, which is Marybeck, and I will speak to them whether they are involved in this and see if I can get some information. So stay tuned for some breaking news on our next live stream.
That's good. I'm looking forward to it. And looks like My Energy, I think they do Zappy. They'll deliver 100 smart connected EV chargers in homes as well. So yeah, part of that grant. Good to see. All right, well let's move on to we've got some more of Riz's charts. We love Riz's charts. He's got them back up here, and let's have a look at one of these. Oops, sorry, that's Victoria. Let's have a look at New South Wales. So we go New South Wales Tesla growth in 2023. Talk us through this, Riz.
Yeah, so we're nearly at 25,000 Teslas in the New South Wales fleet, which is once again pretty much doubling where things were at the end of last year. The Model Y has done really well across Australia, and that's last couple of months, that's what's really been contributing to EV uptake across most states and territories. Looking at where things might go, I'm not sure what's going to happen now, particularly for Model 3 order holders, because is Tesla going to stop supply for those vehicles, or while they wait for the Highland to arrive in sort of Q1 next year, or will they just continue to supply? Because from what it looks like in Shanghai, they're only producing Highlands now for Model 3s. So it would be interesting to see what happens after these next lot of boats come through. But yeah, New South Wales, 25,000, nearly 25,000 Teslas. And I think the total state EV uptake is hovering around 38,000 passenger cars. So 25,000 out of the 38,000 are Teslas.
Wow, that's the lion's share of EVs really at the moment, isn't it? What Tesla's delivering. We've got Brenton saying he's waiting for his Model 3 order. He's got a VIN number and hoping it does arrive this week.
Ooh.
Now, what's interesting is that obviously if you've got a vehicle assigned to your order, then yes, you get your Model 3, which is assuming it's the current generation Model 3. For those without a vehicle assigned, I think we've had news that people have been offered to upgrade their Model 3. In fact, offered is probably a generous word. I think it's almost forced, because if you don't change your order within 2 weeks, that order is basically cancelled for you. I think also you don't get to upgrade, or you don't get to keep your deposit fee either. For those of you who are in the chat in that situation, just confirm that for me. But that's what I've heard this week from viewers. So There you go. That's my understanding.
So anyone that was keen to keep their indicator and gear shifter stalks, you'll have to either tell Tesla you want to buy something that's in inventory or look at a relatively new car on the used market.
That's right. The stalks are running out fast. That's it's going to be very extinct very shortly on the Tesla market. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. Thanks, Riz, for that. And I think you've got one more slide. So let me just have a quick look. Yes, you do. Let's have a look at this one. So this is used EV Model 3 listings in 2023 so far.
So why I thought this would be interesting now is we're starting to see an increase of used listings. I'm not sure if this is on the back of the new Model 3 launch, and people are sort of starting to sell some of their older Model 3 vehicles in anticipation that in a couple of months' time they will get their new car. But this trend would be interesting to monitor over the coming months as to what happens, particularly when the new Model 3 finally lands for customer deliveries, because people will be either trading in or trying to sell on the private market. So just worth monitoring, but they're starting to tick up now.
Yes, that's true, Riz. And breaking news, yes, my black Model 3 is on the used car market as well. If you want a very late model black rear-wheel drive Model 3 with ceramic coating in Sydney, have a look on car sales. My car is there, so check that out. So I am a statistic, yes, along with everyone else on the uptick. Oliver's saying, yes, I find it interesting that Tesla US still doesn't have the Tesla Model 3, the new Highland Model 3. Yeah, look, Australia, we're always saying we're behind the 8 ball, but no, we're actually getting the Highland 3 before the US potentially, because we can actually order one now.
And the UK, I think that their design studio is still showing, last time I checked, the older car. There's been sightings of the Highland with European number plates on trucks leaving sort of China, heading towards the port. So that would also be quite interesting to see what happens. But I think from now on, they're only producing the Project Highland vehicles, the upgraded Model 3 out of Shanghai.
Yep, so that's definitely one benefit of having our cars delivered from China. Isn't that good? Paul reminded me. So he filled out the insurance survey. For those of you who tuned in on Tuesday, did a special insurance live stream. So I might leave a link to that insurance survey in tonight's stream as well later on. But otherwise, look at the last stream I did, insurance surveys, to help an insurance company do a ground up insurance product for us EV owners too. So thank you very much, Paul. Okay, so question for me. Hi Tom, do you think a Model 3 Plaid is coming? Yeah, I think Nash, our good friend, might have, well, I'm not sure hinted's the word, he might have speculated this week on X that the missing performance Model 3 could be Plaid. I don't know, but one thing I do know is that I think there's a chance, Riz, you might be able to confirm, there's a chance that Model S and X might be a scarce thing as well, right? Could we be losing that as well in the rest of the world?
Well, I think there's an interesting thing happening in the US now, because Tesla is struggling to sell Model S and X's there. Interest rates are up. They've tried everything. They even launched that special Model S and X that we spoke about that was software locked a couple of weeks ago, which they called it the Model S Special Standard Range, I think. That's off the configurator now. So 2 weeks, the shortest variant ever released by a car company is off now. And now we've got back to the standard cars, which they've reduced the prices significantly. Tesla will find it difficult to continue to find buyers that want that type of a vehicle. So it would be interesting, but I think it's the wise thing to do to basically give the Model 3, whether it's Plaid or more power, because now the standard range cars and the dual motor long range cars with the Highland upgrade, the top speed has been reduced from 233 kilometers an hour to 201 kilometers an hour.
Yep.
It doesn't matter to most of us. We don't have autobahns here. But particularly for track-focused cars like the Model 3 Performance, you sort of want a higher speed, and also you want to know what you're paying for as well. So the speculation may be true. They may not call it the Plaid. They may still call it the Performance, but it needs to be a bit of a jump up on the long range that they've currently got, because that's what's going to have the track mode. Which, if they really wanted to go all out, they would put 300, 450, 500 kilowatts, not horsepower, 500 kilowatts into that Model 3 Performance, and then it's like a 30-40 grand jump on the sort of long range. And that's for those that want that specific performance. They have a vehicle, especially in markets like ours where we don't have the Model S Plaid.
Yep, that's right. Thanks, Riz. And yeah, Peter Cook says Tesla US has not upgraded Fremont yet, so no Highland. That's correct. Shanghai is actually the first one. I just wanted to quickly disclose there was a question here about the insurance live stream. Where was it? Scotty's comment. Yes, so yes, that insurance company that we did the live stream for, and I made it very clear in that stream that it's a sponsored event. They did sponsor that stream, so yes, there is a financial incentive for doing that stream. Thanks everyone for filling out the survey too. Appreciate it. And I just want to quickly touch on this point here. So the BYD Megastore VIP event, yes. So there is actually a special media event before the general event on Thursday. So next week we may not be live streaming, just a heads up. We'll let you know, but I think there's a special one for Thursday for media, and then Friday is the sort of VIP customer one, which some of you may receive invitations for as well. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, let's see if there's any other comments we can put up. Let's have a look. All right, so yes, the European Model 3s are still the current generation one at this stage too. Just seeing a few comments there. Yes, Jez is saying, yes, hope Tom's Black Model 3 comes with all the Tesla Tom kit and gizmos. Should sell for a higher price. Wow. You can pay more if you like, guys, but yeah, it's on the market. Have a look.
I saw it in person a couple of weeks ago in Canberra, and I've got to say there's quite a few unique accessories in that vehicle that I think Tesla fans will appreciate. So if anyone's looking, it's 2023 Black Model 3 up for sale in Sydney.
Thanks, Riz. Appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to a few of our things we want to discuss tonight. So I might just pop this one up real quick. So this was spied this week in Brisbane. The F-150 Lightning spied in Brisbane. There we go. So that is what is coming to Australia. There we go. Balimba, that's definitely in Brisbane.
Yeah, it's I think south of Brisbane there. So yeah, very, very good to see. We've got Ford testing these. These are big cars, over 5 meter in length, and this picture actually is good because you can see the Hyundai Santa Fe in the background while this F-150 is trying to reverse in, and it looks tiny compared to what the F-150 is. So yeah, it would be cool to see these. And in America, they sell 4 variants. This looks like the second one from the bottom. I think the XLT, because it has the light bar going all the way across. And also the wheels match the XLT wheels. So it's not the base model and it's not top of the range, but top of the range I think starts at like $90,000+ US, which is a lot of money. And this variant is around $60,000 US. Okay.
Yeah, look, I've seen one of these. Well, not this Lightning, but I've seen an F-150 on my street. I don't live in a very wide street, and I tell you what, this almost takes up half the width of the street. So these are big vehicles, as Riz said. If you even have a look at this picture here, the one next to it. So yeah, look at that's an average sedan or hatch next to it. It's just tiny compared to the F-150 Lightning. So there you go. I mean, I'm looking forward to potentially driving one of these. I've put a request to test drive it, so stay tuned. I'll try and get one for you guys. Brenton's saying this could be a US import. So anyway, it's spotted in Australia for testing, whatever it is. Yeah, Charles too. This isn't one of them. Private import potentially too. Thank you.
If we go to that other photo, I thought, so that looks like the steering wheels in the right-hand drive position. So I wonder if it's converted here, because Ford is starting to convert their standard F-150, which I don't know why you'd bring that truck in an ICE format in 2023 in Australia, which they did. So they're apparently converting them here. So I wonder if this is one of those conversion. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, probably. I think they're open for order too, aren't they, in Australia? If I'm not mistaken. No? Anyway, might have heard wrong. The marquee is definitely available.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. All right, let's move on. And so we have an Ioniq. So just to recap, some of the Tesla Superchargers in Australia are now open to non-Tesla EVs. I think 30 of them we reported from the channel. Also, Riz reported on the Driven as well. And looks like Box Hill in Melbourne is one of them. And this is a Ioniq charging at one of them. Let's have a look. So this is a V3 plug. And looks like the Ioniq has got the plug on the left side, which is good. The rear left. That's perfect for the Tesla Supercharger. I don't know what the rate this person got, but there's been some mixed reports too, I believe. Especially the V3 ones. The BYDs aren't charging as quickly. And even the EGMP cars like the Ioniq 5, Kia EV6 aren't charging as quickly as people would like.
They could potentially be throttled by Tesla. While they're testing and trialing, because they still call this a trial. So yeah, could possibly be the reason. They might be trying to optimize their power delivery system. Others like Charles may know a little bit more, but I would say that it's still a trial for them, and maybe how busy the site is as well. That's always worth noting, and time of day based on how much supply they'll have available. So I think it's still good to see the expansion of the charging network and being made available to all EVs like this Ioniq.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, sorry, Rahul.
No, go ahead, Tom. Yeah.
No, please, go ahead.
I think I saw a tweet from Bridie as well today, which stated that some of the other models that are using Tesla chargers are struggling to reach, sort of indicated charge speeds that they would get on non-Tesla chargers as well. So I think this could be an issue from Tesla's side that they may need to resolve at their charging software end. But yeah, good to see that these cars do have access to it. I mean, if you're stuck, if there's no charger inside, even if you're getting 40, 50k kilowatt charging speeds, better than nothing, I guess. So yeah, good to have more EV cars charging on that Tesla network.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would not use, if I was driving a non-Tesla EV, I would not use a supercharger as my first option, just because they're expensive. But this is a fantastic backup, and certainly would give me more confidence doing a road trip, having a Tesla supercharger there as a backup, even though it's more expensive.
Oh, for sure. And I think just quickly, I know there's a few complaints going around that Ioniqs can't charge quick enough, or Ioniq 5s and Kia EV6 and the rest. But at the Ampol chargers with 400 volt cars, like Teslas and others, we can't get full speed either. So if we get 60, 70 kilowatts at those chargers, whereas the Ioniqs and the rest, the ABB chargers, they're getting like 140, 150 kilowatts, and we all pay the same price.
Yeah,
so
this is true.
That's, it sort of works both ways as well, but maybe Tesla's learning at the moment around 800 volt cars in Australia.
Yeah, that 800 volt architecture does actually work. I've tested it a few times on the GMP cars, and you can charge from 20 to 80% within 17 minutes, which is pretty good. Charles is telling us 4 under construction at the moment. Lucas, which is Ballarat, with 10 stalls. Yass, New South Wales, 12, and Wagga Wagga with 6, and Calliope with 6 as well. So good to see Tesla rolling them out. So here's an example of a non-Tesla EV charging relatively quickly from a Tesla supercharger. This is Box Hill again. Box Hill's getting some airtime here tonight in Victoria. So this is kind of the sign that greets you when you try and charge here with a non-Tesla EV. You can scan that QR code there. You can download the app. Instructions pop up. And this is a Volvo XC40 charging using a V3 plug. And so the V3 superchargers have a capacity of about 250 kilowatts at its max. I've seen it a couple of times in the Performance Model 3. But this Volvo XC40 was getting 101 kilowatts. I think from memory, the Volvo can charge at 150, maybe
Yeah.
less. Yeah, 150. So for 101, I don't know what the state of charge is. Let me see. I don't think it was stated. So 101, you would think it's pretty low state of charge to get that speed. So look, it's good. Again, it's a nice, backup option for those without, for those who need it, just in case those third-party ones go down. I'm going to keep going with the news we've got on our private chat, and we've got Sawyer saying that Tesla Model X now starts under $80,000 in the US. It's not only eligible for the $7,500 federal tax credit, but it's also eligible in some states for state credits. So in Colorado, you can get an extra $5,000 off. So a new Model X for $67,000 after incentives.
So I think pretty much every Victorian needs to move to Colorado because we've got, not only we can drive Model X's there, but at the same time, it seems to be that they've got good incentives.
Incredible.
Tell you what, I think the US dollar just rose against the Aussie dollar today. So I was going to say it's about $100,000, maybe a bit more now with the drop today. So just over 100,000 Aussie, you can get a Model X in the US. So it's good. And just sticking with Tesla just for the moment as I just work through our news articles. So this is Sawyer again saying, apparently in the US, Tesla no longer lists auto steer on city streets as a coming soon feature. It's been listed as coming soon for the last 4 years. This might seem like a small change, but indicates Tesla is getting very close with its full self-driving capabilities. Good. Okay. All right, let's move on. So this, staying with Tesla once again, this was spotted in China, I think. Here we go. New Model 3 is in transit from China. They spotted on a transporter somewhere in China. There you go. Ladies and gents, they are coming. Definitely the new ones. They've got the new rear lights.
So those wheels,
Yeah.
is that what's under the new aero caps?
They must be. Yes, they must be. They're different to the old ones, right? So all those aftermarket caps probably won't fit.
And these were also the ones that were, a lot of the cars in the US seen testing had these wheels on them. So yeah, new design.
I must say they look a lot nicer than the old aero wheels. I wonder whether the wheels also help with the extra range too, guys, because the battery is the same. So whether the aerodynamics of the wheels, the design over the hood, help with the lower drag coefficient.
Great point. I agree. Yeah.
I think the rolling resistance might also be, I think it was the cars in Europe, I think, had hand-cooked tires on them. So, different tire once again, and that could have a big impact on the range, along with all the other aerodynamic features like a sleeker front, even where the sort of back of the front bonnet ends near the windscreen. They've made that a little bit of a zone where the air will move a bit smoother. But yeah, tires, everything. I think they test everything.
Yeah, that's right. So the aerodynamics make a huge difference to the efficiency. I mean, the weight is not as much. You can carry one passenger versus four. The difference is very minimal, but the drag coefficient does depend. Very much on things like that we just discussed. Just sticking once again with efficiency. So Hankook, one of our tire manufacturers, has recently released the Ion Evo tire for EVs, boasting less than 29% noise reduction, range improvement, stability increase. So I wonder whether this will be coming on the Model 3s. This kind of thing is improving the efficiency overall. It's good. I just want to put up Charles's comment here. Hopefully Tesla do the same with V4 as they did with V3 and build their first Aussie site in Tassie. That's true, Charles. They did. They built the first V3 in Tasmania at Devonport. So Mega Hobart's getting the new one. Fingers crossed for you guys. As we know, V4 Supercharger's got the tap and go credit card facility. So yeah, let's see what happens. Cool. All right, let's move on. And this is Tom Baker from Chasing Cars. I'll just put up his X at the moment. Sorry, guys, one sec. So this was about the ID GTI concept. Let me just put it up for you. So how real is this? 93% is the answer. He said only a few elements will be lost when the car goes into production. The biggest problem, the factory that will build the first GTI EV only opens in 2025.
Yeah, but I think this factory is going in Spain. Looks great, the car, but nice hot hatch. Yeah, Riz, you might need to get some new runners to spot this. It might be a bit fun for you.
I think I'm going to need runners and sponsorships. So I'm looking for any sponsors that would like to sponsor Dieselgate on them, because that's all part of it. But when I look at this car, it's iconic amongst many hot hatch, warm hatch fans. It's an iconic car. I just think whether Volkswagen will be able to build these, it reminds me of the ID Buzz. They're able to build them, where they're selling them. Do we even get any in Australia? And then it also makes me wonder, Model 2 performance.
Yeah,
because if we
true hot hatch.
True hot hatch.
That'd be good. It looks good, I agree. But 2025, clearly Volkswagen have a crystal ball. They can look into the future. So have to wait a couple of years. Just back to Tesla real quick. So Tesla is delivering 1 million cars every 27 weeks, so about half a year. It's an average of one car every 16 seconds. It's amazing, right? Let that sink in for 1 sec. And this is a X from our good friend Elliot, who's been on the stream a few times. So this is SAIC GM Willing collaboration with Kenyan firm Autopacks, giving us the Willing Air Reborn as the Autopacks Air Year 2, assembled in Thika, near Nairobi in Kenya.
Yes. Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers. KVM.
How many kilometers is the range?
It's
300 for the yellow one and
300 kilometer range. I'm not sure if you can hear the sound.
The other one, the year 2 300.
The other one's 200 kilometers. So
and the year 2.
that's a cute little car there. Riz, I know you like your little cars.
Maximum speed?
100, but it can do up to 110.
110 kilometers an hour.
4.
I think Rahul's seen these in Indonesia.
Yeah, saw them last month in Bali, and they look fantastic, and particularly for the type of traffic conditions that you may have in countries, say Kenya, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, some of these countries. Yeah, these cars just go absolutely gangbusters. So quick and amazing, darting in between spaces. Fantastic. I love the look of them as well. They're really, really funky cars.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. As you said, good for sort of developing countries where space is definitely at a premium on streets.
And cost as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure this will come in under 20K easily.
Yeah. So it's always fun to see stuff like this. Whether it comes to Australia, I don't know. I'd say probably not likely.
I think the most important part or component on vehicles like these is the horn. If the horn works, then people can easily get around anywhere, and that's the language on the road in a lot of developing countries, which I think it's great. So I think he's trying to press the horn there, so I think it works.
Yeah, especially if it's a rental, it'll perform even better. So yeah, no, thanks for sharing that, Elliot. All right, so just to whet your appetite, everyone, we know the Model 3 Highland dropped last week on a Friday. This is what a Model Y refresh could look like as well, just to whet your appetite. Same sort of design with the lights. Of course, this is just a render. This is not official Tesla stuff, so this is what potentially it could look like in maybe next year.
That's the ad that Lamborghini was trying to put together, the Huracan electric car.
That's right. Yes, but where's the attractive person? All I see is a vehicle. It can't be a Lamborghini ad. Yeah,
I mean, surely Tesla, if they can do a Highland refresh as successfully as they have done with the Model 3, they would definitely be looking at doing a refresh of the Y as well. Two of their best-selling cars, the 3 and the Y, in those segments, in that sort of sedan and then the SUV segment. And yeah, this borrowing from that Highland refresh just looks so much more sleeker and sexier than the current version of Model Is as well. So yeah, if they've already got their production line fitted out for that Model 3 refresh, no brainer. I would say in the next 12 to 18 months, you would definitely see a refresh come in based on consumer sentiment.
Yep, no, I agree. It's almost a sure thing, I would say, in the next year or two. All right, let's have a look at, speaking of Model Y, this is a Riz article from The Driven. So Model Y tops electric list again as new models propel 2023 sales beyond 55,000. Amazing.
Yeah, it's over 50,000 sales now. It's great to see. I think it was closer to 57,000 by the end of August. Bit of a slower month for the electric vehicle sales, but a big month for vehicle market. Nearly 110,000 vehicles sold, which is phenomenal for an August. I don't know whether the manufacturers or FCAI, the ones that release the numbers, will say things like, "Oh, because supply chain's improving" and all of that. It'd be really interesting to see. So Model 3 did come above the BYD Atto 3.
Yep.
But then at the same time, MG4 started deliveries, and first month they've out-delivered the MG ZS EV.
No, it's good. They did promise to deliver 1,000 cars a month once they launch. So yeah, it's heading in the right direction for sure. Good to see the GW Aura also selling 90 last month. It's a good start, I guess. Yeah, no, that's good. Here we go. There's the numbers there. So Model Y number 1, Model 3 number 2. BYD not far behind, 803. Volvo XC40, 382 sales. That's pipping Polestar there, even despite the refresh. I guess not many refresh deliveries just yet. MG ZS EV still doing well despite the MG4 on the market. And look, the Mercs are out there. EQA, EQBs.
Yeah, they've had a pretty quiet year so far, both EQA and EQB. But yeah, moving forward, there's some competition coming. BMW's just announced that they will be bringing 3 new variants into the Australian market by Q1 next year. Some of them land next quarter, so in a couple of months' time. That will be under the luxury car tax threshold. And some of them will also be eligible for the FBT exemptions. So BMW iX1 will have a single motor base variant. BMW iX3 will have one under 90,000, and BMW i4, which is their 4-door sedan based on the 4 Series, will be around 90-odd thousand plus on roads as well. Even though it's based on a nice platform, I quite like the look of the BMW i4, but it is very cramped on the inside because it's not a ground-up EV.
Yep, hence the importance of ground-up EVs. Varun saying EQE is getting officially launched in Australia on the 14th. Okay, Mercedes EQE.
I think that might be the SUV Varun's talking about, because the sedan has been out for a couple of months, maybe earlier this year. But yeah, EQE SUV is coming out September.
Cool. And yeah, there was a comment about, here we go, JD saying, with the new Model 3, are there any right-hand drive markets delayed for sales? UK is not open yet because they don't get their cars from Shanghai. So I guess any right-hand drive markets not from Shanghai will be delayed.
So UK, I think, does receive them from Shanghai, the Model 3s.
Oh, they do? Apologize.
At the moment, but they, I think, are not getting them yet. So Australia is one of the first right-hand drive markets, along with New Zealand, and from memory, I'm not sure if Singapore has them yet.
So the New Zealand order page isn't open yet?
It is open.
Refresh. It is. Okay, good.
It is, yeah. Australia and New Zealand is opened. It could just be a trial for them, because what they'll have to do is they'll have to switch the left-hand drive line, which is where they're producing the cars for China and Europe, Europe, where they're driving on the left side or the other side. But yeah, where they will, I think we will be sort of the trial market out of Shanghai for them to switch over to the right-hand drive vehicles. So, it sort of diminishes the chances that we might see some in our showrooms soon. But as soon as we do, I've got my runners on, sponsored by Dieselgate.
Yes. Anyway, but if anyone's watching from Adidas or Reebok or Nike or Brooks or whatever, Puma, Asics, yeah, Riz is looking for a running shoe sponsor. So have a chat to Riz. All right, so moving on, we've got, Model Y parcel shelf available in Australia now to order. $650 for those of you with a bit of cash to splash. If you want a parcel shelf, which probably is going to be removed anyway, $650 is what you'll have to pay to get that retrofitted. That was a bit of a big fuss, wasn't it, when Model Y first dropped? Where's the parcel shelf? And here we go. There's the option for you. What else can we chat about? Just moving to renewables just for one sec. We've got UK battery electric vehicle sales surged 72%. Oh no, this is not renewables. This is still EVs, accounting for 1 in 5 of all cars sold. EVs have made up 16.4% of sales in 2023 to date, up from 14% last year. So we just saw the driven article from Riz, 6.2% for EVs last month. So the UK is up to 16.4%. So they've got a bit of a jump on us at the moment. Okay. And just sticking with Tesla just really briefly again. So this is a video of the Model S Plaid on the Autobahn. My goodness, that's fast. That's kilometers an hour. Still pretty quick. My goodness. 280. Does it go 300? Yes, he does. Wow. That's nuts.
That is crazy. It really is.
That's so fast.
It is so fast.
320.
And the way it just polishes this speed.
Wow. Yeah, that's I'd definitely be wanting to get out of the way if someone's doing that on the Autobahn, coming up behind me.
So this car must have the track pack on it, because I didn't think they could get to that speed without the actual track pack, which had the bigger brakes for safety reasons. So I think in Europe they are starting to deliver some cars with track packs. So yeah, phenomenal what you can do. Obviously, it's got the round steering wheel instead of the yoke.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. A Tesla Supercharger site open in Quartzsite in Arizona. 60 stalls now open, but when complete, 84 charging stalls. That's kind of stuff we can only dream of here. Amazing. But we are thankful, however, in Australia that we have stuff like this. So this is just opened in Canberra at the Australian Mint. We've got, I think, four Kempower stalls. So that's one we'll definitely want to check out when we next go to Canberra. This is installed by MG, who's been installing a lot of DC chargers around Australia, run by ChargeFox as well. So good to see. We do need more DC chargers in Canberra, don't we? So six new EV fast chargers. So that might be a 6 stall.
Yeah, they may have 2 dispensers that we can't see in the photo. But with these Kempower chargers, it's sometimes slightly misleading in terms of the way they dispense their power. So if you've got one car charging, especially at the shopping centers, if there's 4 stall Kempower chargers, if you have one car charging, and let's say it's 100 kilowatt capability of the charging site, as soon as you get 2 or 3 on, it just drops down to like 25, 30 kilowatts. So it's sharing, but it's generally sharing at a relatively low speed if there's multiple cars charging. So ideally, moving forward, if anyone's actually listening at Kempower or who designs these sites, it'd be good, particularly for thoroughfares and places like Canberra where there aren't a lot of chargers, there aren't a lot of EV charging sites, but a lot of EVs. It's just to have large numbers of high-powered chargers, sort of what the New South Wales Grant has.
Yep. I agree. So there's a bit of power sharing. Is that why they drop when two pull up?
In my experience, particularly those sites at shopping centers, they generally tend to drop because of power sharing. So when we were talking earlier about Tesla Superchargers and not giving the 800 volt speeds that Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6 owners expect, I don't think it will drop it that low compared to what happens at some of these Chem Power sites.
What I do like about this site is that you see how there's five of the 6 new chargers use CCS2, and only one of them use CHAdeMO. That, I think, is getting closer to the right mix for these multi-stall sites. We can't have half of them CHAdeMO, I'm sorry. Like CHAdeMO makes up less than 5% of cars or EVs in Australia, so it doesn't make sense to have them half CHAdeMO. So this is kind of getting closer to what the ratio should be.
Victoria still have CHAdeMO with the new sites. We have one DC charger, one CHAdeMO, and one CCS. So hopefully that ratio will change, Tom, as you say.
Yeah, it's got to reflect the right mix. So, Riz, someone's got a pair of Dunlop volleys for you, but it's a bit high on the clock there, 15,000 kilometers.
Oh, geez, that's all right. Ship them in.
It's a classic, isn't it? Dunlop volleys. Yeah, no pull throughs just yet. So yeah, I think pull throughs probably is the way to go. Like a petrol pump, you just gotta allow trailers, and doesn't matter where your charging port is. So yeah, pull through makes sense, right? Yeah. So JD says thanks for your novated lease comparison earlier this week. I just want to thank viewer Chris if you're watching. Thanks so much for your numbers too. That really helped with that video. Have a look at that video if you haven't yet. If you're thinking about doing a novated lease, there are certainly benefits to doing that. You do save a bit of money. Just a disclaimer, that was based on last year's interest rates or last year's borrowing rates. Sure, they've gone up, but the cost of borrowing has gone up in general, so it's still probably better comparing apples with apples, looking at a novated lease. So just have a look at that too. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. What else have we got to discuss today? Oh, yes, this is interesting. So Sawyer again. We like our mate Sawyer. He's good value. So he's telling us that in America, Tesla is joining the Detroit Auto Show for the first time in 8 years next week. So that's a good sign. They're joining, mainstream auto shows. One of the biggest auto shows, one of the most well-known auto shows in the world.
Yeah, I think this is good news based and coming off, I think the shareholder meeting where I think Tesla and Elon Musk got the feedback that Tesla should be advertising. And I think that's probably coming off the back of that. I've also read some tweets where Tesla, the Model 3 Highland refresh is now showing at some auto markets in Germany and also in China as well. So yeah, good to see that they are actually investing a little bit into marketing and going to some of these auto shows as well.
Yeah, I believe it's being shown in Munich, and it's there's quite a few journos there covering it, so good to see. Okay, so question for the team, I guess. Do you think there will be more charging stations, but each will share a max capacity for the whole station, rather than by each charging point? So you're talking about like load sharing across the whole site. Yeah, okay, that's not a bad way of thinking about it, so that you don't get throttled as much. I mean, the Tesla V3 Superchargers, they come in triplets, so the power sharing is triplets, so there's less chance of being throttled. So yeah, again, Tesla's got that right. So Shailendra is saying, met a Nissan owner who was a bit annoyed, no CHAdeMO at the local fast charger. Yeah, look, I think there should be at least one in a multi-stall site. We should still look after them. Particularly, we've got companies like Good Car Company bringing in second-hand Leafs into the market too. Yeah.
Is there an adapter, Riz and Tom, for the CHAdeMO to then use the adapter to then be able to access the CCS charger or not? I'm not sure.
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's to do with communication, and maybe it's a different standard, but I haven't come across one. I know a few Nissan Leaf owners that always sometimes get stranded at these sites, and where even the plug itself sometimes gets stuck because there's a physical button to remove it from the car. But yeah, they are a little bit they haven't been. I haven't seen them with a sort of a converter of some sort, but maybe there is some solution in the rest of the EV world.
Yeah, and I agree. There's no commercially available converter. There is a CHAdeMO to Type 2 Tesla Model S X converter, but not for CCS2. So, yep. Arguably, is it a dying breed, CHAdeMO? Very few cars use it in Australia. Nissan Leaf, obviously one of them. Outlander PHEV, which arguably should they be using DC chargers anyway, given they've got a very small traction battery. So anyway, you guys can answer that for yourselves. All right, let's put this one up because this is what we discussed earlier. Bridie Schmidt, one of our good friends. Oh, no, that's not Bridie, that's Sawyer. This is Bridie. So less than ideal charging experiences from other EV brands at Tesla Superchargers in Australia. Also hearing GWM Aura is a no-go until there is a software update. Anyone else having problems? So there you go. Australian owners of Hyundai, Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, Kia EV6 EVs, which are all based on the EGMP 800-volt platform, capable of charging 235 kilowatts at other places, only achieving 42 kilowatt rate at a 250 kilowatt Tesla V3 supercharger, still relatively slow on a V2. And one of our viewers has actually verified that. They showed me a top speed of about 90 for their Kia EV6. So again, is it a software issue? Are they being throttled by Tesla? Probably, right? Just for testing purposes for now. All right, so if you've got one of these cars, keep posting them or keep sending them to me. I'll amplify them for you. Keep testing them on those 30 supercharger sites in Australia just to see how fast we can get with them.
And one more, if there's anyone driving around in an affordable Taycan, if they can test one of these sites out and just let us know what's going on, because apparently Taycan has slower charging speeds than the Nissan Leaf. So if they can tell us what's happening out there, that would also confirm whether it's the EGMP platform itself or whether it's widespread testing that is currently being done at superchargers.
That's right, because the Taycan is also 800 volts as well. So, yep.
Yeah, and I think we'd like to also see how some of these cars are pulling into the Tesla chargers and accessing the charging plugs as well. So, obviously not one size fits all, unfortunately. So we've seen some interesting pics on Twitter of some of the other models obviously parked parallel rather than sort of backwards or front forwards, or struggling to get that charging cable in. Some obviously ironing defects to be sorted out by Tesla and by some of these manufacturers as well in accessing these charging cables.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if the wheel stop is not taken out yet for some of these stalls. Then you've got funny situations where they're parked across a couple of spots. So just be mindful of other people. Thank you. And Oliver's very kind. He's going to share when he tries with his BMW iX or Audi e-tron. Thank you so much. Okay. Taco will provide complimentary tickets to the Melbourne EV show. So hit up Taco if you're a Taco member. And Scotty's saying, sounds like software incompatibility. Most charging manufacturers test many cars and tweak the software to optimize each one. Paul's asking, how do non-Teslas do battery preconditioning? Well, I did this the other day, actually. I was trying to use the ChargeFox charger. I just put in my local supercharger, and it was preconditioning the battery for me, which is nice. Even though I was going completely the wrong way, it kept recalculating the route. But it doesn't matter. It kept conditioning the battery, so it does work. So nice little hack for you guys. Okay, well, let me show you this X here. So this is something I'd like to see test out a Tesla Supercharger. So full car truckload of Mustang Mark E's just spotted in, I'm not going to pronounce this. I don't know how to pronounce this, guys. Riz and Rahul, Victoria. Truganina, Victoria. Thank you. So Riz, another one for you to run out to.
I don't want to run too close to Truganina. There is a detention center and a prison out there, and they might decide to keep me there. So yeah, I'll stay away from Truganina. But thanks for sharing the photo out there.
Is that why they've got the iron rod fence there?
Just joking. There's some good new housing estates out there.
Okay. Here's a clearer picture here. So, look, I must say, it does look quite nice. Obviously, the Mustang. It's got quite an angry stance there at the back. So I'd love to test drive one of these. So, yeah, and charge them for you too.
Well, here's an interesting question: Mustang GT or the Ioniq 5N, because they're both priced at around 110 grand.
That's not cheap. Yeah, I
and
know.
and on the Ioniq 5N, just quickly, 15th of September is the pre-orders only open for 12 hours. So Hyundai is doing the chook raffle again. So if anyone's got 111 grand, 110 grand to splash, 15th of September, midday to midnight.
Yep. Get those keyboards out. Yep. Gonna be harder to get than Taylor Swift tickets. So yep. If anyone orders one, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Back to Tesla again. So this was shared by our good friend Nash. And question is this a powered frunk on the Cybertruck? Nash loves a good speculation. So let's see. I don't know. He's forcing it down, isn't he? I don't think it's powered personally. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not powered, in my opinion.
Mm. I mean, it's not like a regular frunk in a 3 and a Y where you got to push it down. It's sort of almost like a soft close at the end. Don't know.
Yeah, the lack of a power frunk is not going to deter people from buying one of these, and that includes me.
The question of how big this frunk was, like, it's not a small frunk as some people were saying a few weeks ago. This is a huge frunk. Like, it's you can fit like stuff in, like, at almost the same height. So I think it's very versatile, very practical, personally. Cool. Okay, so let's finish with this one, gents. This is an article from The Driven. Is this your article, Riz?
No, I think it's another contributor.
Okay, so this is from Jacinta Bala. Fast chargers now feature petrol station style signs with rates including big solar discount. I think we might have touched on this possibly before, maybe. So daytime renewables, you can see 40 cents per kilowatt hour, and then every other time is 80 cents per kilowatt hour. Another NG site. I wonder where this one is. But do we agree with this? Obviously it makes sense to be cheaper when the sun is out and using renewables. But if you need to charge, you need to charge, right? It's going to be expensive.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure where it is, but curious about the vehicle of choice to test the charger.
What is this?
I think it's an Outlander plug-in hybrid.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what the plug-in hybrids can take, but I think I suspect the Kia EV6 and Ioniq 5 at Tesla Superchargers might be able to get higher charging speeds.
You're right. We discussed this just a bit earlier, didn't we? Whether PHEVs should be using DC fast chargers, given they've only got a small traction battery. So, Gaffer makes a good point. What if you've got a lot of wind renewables, right? You don't need the sun to be out at those times. Just saying. Good point.
Well, that's where the sign remains at, the maximum charge at 80 cents a kilowatt hour, because that's when NG and ChargeFox makes the most amount of money, because they don't want to tell you that the wind is blowing. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, I think personally, I like the charging rates being displayed and the fact that renewables are also being used. If you want to charge at that rate, you will find time to go and charge if it's cheaper. But I would just say, look across the road at a fossil fuel petrol pump, diesel pump, and what they're charging, which is I accidentally looked the other day and I was horrified. It's $2 something now. You're still doing a lot better.
Yeah, that's right. So this is in the Barossa Valley in South Australia. So actually, this is good because last time I was in the Barossa, there was one NRMA charger that was broken or still being commissioned. So this is good to see. There's more coming to that part of the world, which is great. Cool. All right. Well, I think that might be it. I think, gents, I've got nothing else to add from the private chat we've got here. So I've got a comment here from JD Media. I work in the energy market, and the South Australia tariff structure, where it's cheaper in the middle of the day, is now being looked at in other states, subject to regulation and AEMO. That's good. Yeah, Shalendra makes a good point. They should first sort out the no ice parking signs, different standards everywhere. Apparently offshore wind is not that cheap either. Okay. All right, gents, again, thank you so much. Is there anything else you guys want to add last minute? Riz, we'll start with you. Anything at all?
No, nothing. Well, we know there's the Melbourne EV show coming up. There are tickets through Tesla Owners Club of Australia. It'd be interesting to see. I did see a manufacturer this week in a press release put out there that they will have an upcoming vehicle at the Melbourne Electric Vehicle Show, which is Audi with their Q8 55 e-tron. That starts at around $150,000 for their 3 variants that will be on show or on display at the Melbourne EV show. And then I also heard that there may be the Abarth Scorpirisma that may also make an appearance at the Melbourne show, which is currently only a test car being driven around, which we might have seen the photos of here on the live stream. So it's turning into an interesting show where I might have to put my Dieselgate sponsored runners on to go and have a look. So stay tuned.
Yes, as we know, cars attract people, right? So yeah, hopefully Fully Charged do the same thing, get more cars for next year. But yeah, looks like they've got some good vehicles there in Melbourne. Rahul, I want to thank you for your time tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule with your family. I can actually see myself in your reflection there. Wait for myself.
That's
Hey, hey.
No, great to be back. Good to be back on the stream again, gentlemen. Thank you. My only last thing that I'd like to add is, forgive Victoria. We're still catching up to the rest of the world, but we are trying. The 2.2 million grant will definitely help. Slowly but surely, Victoria is coming into the 21st century. And if not, there's always Colorado and New South Wales as well for us.
That's right. So wait for the US dollar to drop again against Australia. We'll get over there. Well, everyone, thanks so much for watching tonight, especially if you joined us on the live chat. I think at one stage I saw over 170 viewers, so really appreciate your engagement on a Thursday night. Sorry, again, I was a bit late this evening, but we got there in the end. Make sure you join us on Saturday. Ooh, not this one. Make sure you can join us on Saturday if you can with Riz and myself, a special weekend extra as always. And I also want to thank our sponsors tonight too, Wallbox Australia and also Carloop as well. Thank you for helping and supporting the channel too. Thanks everyone, and thank you Rahul, thank you Riz, thank you to those watching on on replay. Leave a comment below, and thank you for those listening to us on audio podcast as well. Appreciate your time. All right, everyone, thanks so much, and I shall see you guys on Saturday, and Rahul will see you next Thursday. Thanks everyone. Ciao.